Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Your favorite season is back, and now's the time you can score savings at the Team Automotive Group. You can sell your vehicle to us, and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Score VIP service and save at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Welcome as we start the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours and your little slice of South Louisiana heaven since the last opportunity we had to spend some time with you and yours. Marty, when you get a chance, would you kill that fold back just a tad for me, if not all the way? Please, sir. Thank you kindly. You're a gentleman and a scholar, despite what they all say about you. No, I'm kidding. Love him like a brother. In starting with Louisiana news, as we typically do, it pains me greatly to say that it's happened again. Our entire state and many outside of our state were saddened immensely a couple months ago when a 2-year-old toddler died from a fentanyl overdose. Last week, after leaving the air with you guys and girls, a 1-year-old dying from a fentanyl overdose. Anytime there is a loss of life for a child that young, it is something that just shakes you to the core. And it's ironic how things tie together sometime. I forget what the topic was last week when I mentioned it's not what you did, it's how you did it. In this particular case, this 1-year-old taken by a family member to a local hospital and abandoned. By all accounts, the child had already died at that point. This is yet another glaring example of the shortcomings with the Department of Children and Family Services. In the wake of the first toddler death, we found out that there are hundreds of vacancies in that state agency. And as a result, children and cases are falling through the cracks. This is not acceptable, y'all. You've heard me say on more than one occasion, A former pastor of mine was fond of saying, you can tell a lot about a society by how they treat their elderly and their children. When you look at what is happening with our children, y'all do realize what this says about us, do you not? This 2-year-old and this 1-year-old didn't ask to come here, had no control over the circumstances they found themselves in, and were in no way, shape, or form capable of defending themselves. This is as tragic a set of circumstances as you will ever find. And let's be honest here, guys and girls. There are any number of things that happen in life that are tragic, sad, disgusting. But the true measure of a society is not that these things happen, it's how we respond to these things after they happen. We've known about this for a while now, with this being, obviously, the second toddler to die from a fentanyl overdose. And yet, I don't have any numbers in front of me, but I'm fairly certain the Department of Children and Family Services probably still has a massive number of vacancies. This one, I lay squarely at the feet of Governor John Bel Edwards and the Louisiana legislature. You knew prior to this second child dying of a fentanyl overdose that we had a major problem with that agency. At that point, once we ascertained the magnitude of the problem, it should have been all hands on deck to fix this thing. We are putting everything else on hold. This gets moved to the top of the list of priorities because this is not acceptable. Again, these children didn't ask to come here. They could not defend themselves. And at some point, you have to ask, how many more are we going to allow to die before there is some meaningful action taken? While this says a lot about the individuals involved in these tragic and horrific deaths, it says even more about us as a society, that we're not demanding change and we're not implementing change. With today being election day and the problems we are having on our southern border and the amount of fentanyl that is being allowed to flood into this country, it's time we step up, y'all. How many more darling, innocent babies is it going to take before we do something about this? It is against the natural order of things for a parent to bury a child. God, in his infinite wisdom, did not design his universe for parents to bury their children. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie where there was an alien invasion or a nuclear Armageddon threat, and there's two military personnel talking, and one of them had just lost a son to whatever the situation was, and the other general is offering his condolences. And he made the line that has stuck with me ever since. And this movie was back in the 80s. I just related it to you. It goes against the natural order of things when a parent has to bury a child. I don't know what it's going to take before we can say, this is the last time we're going to allow this to happen. Now listen, I get it. There are situations and individuals out there that we have absolutely no control over. I get it. But in this case, sadly, this was pure negligence, y'all. Pure and simple. This was pure negligence. And how many others are borderline on the cusp of this, with the promulgation, the infiltration, the epidemic proportions of fentanyl entering our country? It pains me greatly to say, conventional wisdom would say we've not seen the last. First break of today's show. When we come back Tuesday, segment 2, you know what that means, right? Yep. Time for another edition of Now That's Just Stupid. That's next when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours. Tax
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The 2022 Mazda CX-5 with iActive all-wheel drive and available turbo engine. It truly ignites the senses.
Save on your new CX-5 right now during the season of discovery at Team Mazda.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Bugs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. It is segment 2 of the Tuesday show, so you know what that means, right? It's time. Another edition of, now that's just stupid. In response to the ever-growing level of stupidity in our country, we instituted this new segment. You'll notice, as the graphic shows you, we're not talking STUPID. You know, regular, ordinary, everyday stupid. What we're talking about here requires a new word with its own spelling. STOOPID, as in, now that's just stupid.
Who do you think you are, CDC now?
Right. We start with the leader of the free world. I don't guess I should necessarily subscribe this to Joe Biden. Instead, it should be directed at his handlers. It's painfully obvious, at least to the most casual observer, that you need to keep him on a very short leash, because the minute you let this guy speak for himself, you're going to have a problem. For example, on Sunday, the leader of the free world, President Joe Biden, told a climate activist that he's not going to allow any new drilling in the United States. Quote, "No more drilling. There is no more drilling. I haven't formed any new drilling." This was on Sunday, where he announced loudly, ain't gonna be no more drilling. Okay? This was also a couple of days after he blamed the oil companies for not drilling. You can't make this stuff up. Quote, "We haven't slowed them down at all. They should be drilling more than they're doing now." He goes on to say, quote, "If they were drilling more, we'd have more relief at the gas pump." So let me get this straight. The leader of the free world tells this climate activist, no more drilling. Oh no, we're not drilling. We're not going to let them drill. None of that. This is 2 days after he says, well, the oil companies are the problem. If they were drilling more, we'd get some relief from the prices at the pump. Listen, y'all. I think most of us have now come to terms with the fact that from day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute, Joe Biden has no clue where he is, who he is, or what he's supposed to do. And listen, this is not intended in any way, shape, or form to be ugly, because I've seen family members deal with dementia. I've seen and been personally involved with loved ones dealing with dementia. So I understand what's involved. But what we are talking about here is the future of our country, y'all. This is long past the, yeah, well, that's old Joe. You know, he might say anything at any moment. You know, he's getting on up there in age. You know, you got to expect. No, y'all. This is bordering on dangerous. This is bordering on a national security issue. This is bordering on the future of our country and our energy, well, can't say energy independence anymore because he completely threw that down the tubes. And y'all voted for him. Funny how that works, huh? Not funny. Stupid. Secondly, I guess at some point you have to learn. For a lot of us, it takes longer than many others, but that is what that is. Did you see last week where late night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel announced that I've lost over half of my audience as a result of the jokes, the one-sided, biased jokes that I told about Donald Trump. Bruh, nobody told you, nor did you have the intelligence to figure out that it's not a good practice to insult half of your customers. Nobody told him this? Or was it, as Marty just alluded to, the fact that he didn't care? When you deal with the public consuming whatever it is that you are selling, it's never a good idea to insult half of your audience, particularly if you are not going to apply it equally across the board. Of course, now, this gives me hope, because if you look at the ratings of people like Jimmy Kimmel, look at the ratings of so-called news outlets like CNN LOL and MSLSD, you start to see a pattern here. Americans have awakened. We are no longer falling for the okie doke. We've awakened. Many of us had to be dragged, kicking and screaming, by our wallets and our brains. Say what you will, but when your wallet gets substantially lighter, all of a sudden you are willing to entertain things that you weren't willing to entertain before. Well, yeah, you know, that's political commentary and this, that, and the other, and you can't really blame them for taking shots at Republicans. When your wallet starts to shrink, then you start to analyze what they're really telling you. Some of y'all took a lot longer than others, but you'll get the message sooner or later. If not, you're not partisan, you're stupid. Finally, speaking of people that don't get it, you can tell, aside from today being election day, you can tell that the left is in full panic mode. Sonny Hostin, co-host of The View. Did y'all hear what this woman said last week? Did y'all hear this? Speaking of how white suburban females are now voting Republican, this woman said, I don't understand this. I don't get this. How they would vote against their own interests. I mean, it's like roaches voting for Raid. This woman compared an entire race and gender to roaches. Now imagine, if you will, just imagine, this was a white conservative comparing all black women to roaches, what the outcry would be. Just imagine. That's rhetorical. You don't have to answer. We all know the answer already. There would be protest marches. There would be demands that this woman is fired. There would be demands that this show be taken off the air until something is done about this despicable woman and her outlandish views. We all know it. Compared an entire gender and race to roaches. What did Elon Musk say not too long ago? I'm no longer voting Democrat. I'm voting Republican because the Democrats have become what? The party of division and hate. Calling an entire race and gender roaches sounds pretty hateful to me, and it should to you, unless of course you just stupid. Bottom of the hour break. When we come back, I have arrived. I will be blessed with his presence. I have arrived. Going to talk a little LSU football with my friend and your co-host of Tigers Roar, Jonathan Poche. That's next when we continue the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Your favorite season is back, and now's the time you can score savings at the Team Automotive Group. You can sell your vehicle to us, and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Score VIP service and save at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Caught spiders?
Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Every now and then I get the opportunity to have people on the show that I really, really like. I told this guy, and no knock on anybody else, but I told this guy when I first met him, I said, man, you're going to do some things in this business. Level head, understands sports, understands human nature, and is not afraid to speak his mind. And you know him as the co-host of Tiger's Roar, along with the spicy one, Buddy Sanji. He is a friend to the show. I view him as a friend, and just a great guy all around. Jonathan Poche. My friend, how are you?
CB, I'm so happy to be here. I'm glad I missed that second segment on the Tuesday.
Right.
Not so stupid. Right. But I need you to talk to my wife and tell her some of those good things so she can know about them too, huh, Marty?
Anytime. Yeah. Anytime, brother.
Get y'all connected.
Anytime. Let's talk some LSU. Gutsy. I can't, for the last 42 years, I've made my living with words. That's the only one I can come up with for that call on the 2-point conversion. That takes guts, guy.
No, to be in the game to begin with, so many freshmen have to play in this situation for LSU on both sides of football. They're not playing like freshmen. They've certainly grown up a lot in the last few months. You think about when Coach Brian Kelly took this job December 1, not even a year ago. There was 39 scholarship players on the team, just lost a bowl game to K-State. It was in disorder, not knowing who the quarterback was, a whole laundry list of problems, not including a total turnover of the coaching staff except for Brad Davis on the offensive line. So a total new situation for LSU just to be in the game. They were ranked 10 in the college football playoff poll, which a lot of people before the game were like, that's just so the Alabama victory could look better on paper.
Right.
Little did they know it would be 7-6 at halftime when LSU historically has started very slow all season, been a better second half team. You had to feel good as a Tiger going into halftime 7-6.
Yeah.
But you said gutsy at the end to call the play to the freshman, Mason Taylor, who had an outstanding game, also caught the touchdown. The fans deserve to rush the field after that one, CB.
Without a doubt. You and I both, when the hire was announced, we both said Great hire.
Yep.
Great hire. This is the guy that, given time, can resurrect the program, get us back on track. Feels good to be right, doesn't it?
Right. It certainly feels good to put faith in a system and a structure and have you see the benefits be paid on game day. You know, Brian Kelly said this team had to jump into the deep end, not really know how to swim, had to learn how to do everything over again, had to buy in 110% from everything, for checking in the morning, eating right during the day, taking your vitamins, getting enough sleep, hitting your strides in the weight room. So you buy in fully as a team. It goes, top to bottom, players and coaches, and it's got to feel really good for Brian Kelly to see his team rewarded for that buy-in.
We have the highlights, and if you would be so kind in the truck as Jonathan and I continue our conversation, we'll let the fans relive that moment. Jaden Daniels, you can see his comfort level. Now, look at the Florida State game, look at second, third, fourth game of the season. To see this young man now, it's like night and day difference.
Well, the decisiveness certainly has been much improved. As soon as he gets to his drop, he knows where the ball's supposed to come out to. He's trusting his receivers a whole lot more. He's not waiting to see that visual hook up. He can kind of throw it before the receiver hits the break. That's a big deal in timing offenses. And his ability to run, I don't think anybody really understood how good of an athlete Jaden Daniels really was. I think the running joke after the games he keeps saying is, everybody comes up to me and says, man, I didn't realize how fast you really were. Right. And of course, I think Alabama came up and said the same thing after Saturday.
Probably, yeah. Speaking of young men that
now CB, not to cut you off, but you talk about 14 touchdowns in the last 3 games. He's accounted for. That's only second to Joe Burrow in a 3-game span.
That's right.
Back-to-back SEC Player of the Week, Jaden Daniels. We were hoping for a productive season before the season started. I said, look, if we win 9 games, that's a lot of things going exactly right for LSU.
Yeah.
And we're right now right in the mix and control their own destiny, sitting atop the SEC West.
Tight end Mason Taylor. Takes a high snap. A freshman.
True freshman. Yep.
Is this a case of, bless his little old heart, he has no idea. He's not supposed to be able to be that composed as a freshman playing SEC ball.
But, he's got the dad with the pedigree and professional football player, Jason Taylor, played a long time. The guy's been around football a long time. It was an absolutely amazing moment to see him crying on his mom's shoulder in the middle of thousands of fans on the field.
Yep.
Huge opportunity for a kid who really, look, the tight end position is not easy in college. You're asked to do a lot of things. You're asked to chip, you're asked to block, you're asked to also go out and catch passes on very good safeties and quarterbacks. And for him to do it all at an elite level right now as a freshman is really exciting for Mason Taylor.
What does this win mean for the Brian Kelly regime?
Well, there's a lot of buy-in, I think. A lot more, not necessarily inside the building, because I think a lot of most of the team, if not all the team, is already 150%. They're willing to run through a wall for Coach Brian Kelly. But for the outsiders, the casual fan,
and the naysayers,
and the national audience, for them to say that Brian Kelly wasn't a cultural fit, I think he looked pretty comfortable tearing up with Holly Rowe after the game, talking about how much it meant for his players. That looked like it was a cultural fit. And the culture down here at LSU is winning. So I think Coach Brian Kelly's fitting that culture pretty well.
Yeah. How much do you worry now about a letdown after a monumental statement win like this one was?
Well, Coach Kelly was asked about it in his press conference on Monday. Is this a classic trap game? And Coach Kelly responded, well, if it is, that means you haven't done a good job preparing your team. He said, we practiced, in January, February, March, outside, outdoors. We weren't inside, so the weather's not going to be an effect. And look, mentally, every week it's been about preparation for Coach Brian Kelly. It's the same structure every single week. It's day in and day out. It's the decisions you make daily is going to put you in a position to succeed on Saturdays. So it's not something that they're doing special this week or last week for Bama that they haven't done for other opponents. Right. It's just really about the preparation. And this team has really started to feel itself. And you get a bunch of young guys together that don't know, like you said, they're not supposed to be this good. Right. Now that they think they can beat anyone any given Saturday, that's a dangerous group.
What went through your mind after LSU finds themselves down in OT? One play. They're back in it. and then they go for 2. What were you thinking sitting there watching this unfold?
I completely agree with the call. You always talk about you want to win the game right now. You don't want to leave it up to the other team. And look, Coach Brian Kelly's been doing it for a long time. He knows the analytics. He's studied a lot.
Right.
He liked the play. Look, the LSU had gone to a very similar play earlier in the game where Mason Taylor came straight across the line of scrimmage, and they kind of left him unblocked. And it ended up working down at the goal line. They wanted to get number 5 on the edge because he's such a dynamic playmaker. Here you see the touchdown.
And
in overtime,
the receivers and
excellent.
the backs.
Josh Williams had an excellent block. I'm glad you said that, CB. Yeah, great credit to block downfield. You see could have been a block in the back right here, but Josh Williams an absolutely gorgeous block to free number 5. The crowd was certainly in it. It helped that LSU played well the entire game, but what an outstanding night for LSU.
This is obviously the most graciously paid $500,000 that LSU will ever fork over.
Now, I didn't agree with rushing the field against Ole Miss. I mean, I think Ole Miss is kind of LSU's little brother.
What's the old saying? Act like you've been there.
Right. So $250,000, excuse me, for Ole Miss. I didn't like that, but look, rush the field. I'm sure somebody's going to pick up that check from the tab.
Oh, yeah.
Scott Woodward's not really worried about that. I'm sure everybody involved will remember that night for the rest of their lives.
Is Brian Kelly, and I already know the answer. I just want to give you the opportunity to answer the question. Is he the kind of guy that goes, after all of this subsides, maybe I should have kept that card in my vest pocket for when I really, really need it? I mean, I don't know him personally, but what I do know about him is that he relishes opportunities like this where the bar has been set pretty freaking high now. I mean, first year, top 10, knocking on the door of the playoff scenario, going for a 2-point conversion in OT against Alabama. I don't know if I'd want to play all of those cards at one time, being the new kid in town.
Well, with all that being said, Brian Kelly has absolutely hit a grand slam.
Without
since
a doubt.
He was hired. The moves that he's making. I mean, this last going for 2 against Alabama. That's just like the cherry on top this Sunday. You talk about the recruiting class. Go all the way back to the 2022 recruiting class. Okay, this was supposed to be the salvage class. What are we going to be able to save?
Right.
Brand new coach coming in late. Okay, so you pick up Walker Howard. He's like best friends with Will Campbell. Okay, then you pick up Emory Jones. Get Harold Perkins. Now we're really working with something. Those 4 guys, plus you get Sage Ryan, not to even mention what possibly Walker Howard could do for LSU later on in his career.
Yeah.
This could be one of the best signing classes LSU's seen in a very long time. And everything, the coordinators, keeping Brad Davis. Brad Davis has had 6 different offensive line combinations, 2 starting true freshmen at your tackles.
Right.
They just took on 2 NFL-ready, two-day caliber edge rushers, and they held their own each and every play.
I saw over the weekend in keeping up with games and scores where Notre Dame, big upset win. Here now, former coach at Notre Dame. Very seldom do you have a coaching change like this and it's a win-win situation.
Well, you'd have to. I mean, we'll see what Coach Freeman does at Notre Dame as time plays out.
Yeah.
Certainly, as LSU, you take the trade. We wanted Coach Freeman as a defensive coordinator when that opportunity presented itself, but he chose to go with Coach Kelly. We know how that played out, but yeah, Notre Dame is always going to be Notre Dame. They're always going to be overrated before the season, CB. They're always going to have a cupcake schedule, play 1 or 2 decent opponents a year, and they're going to be, get all the praise and glory.
Right.
And
never win it.
I'm happy for Coach Freeman. I hope he does have a lot of success in Notre Dame. Look, he inherited a situation with a lot of volatility where now he's thrust into a spot. Maybe he wasn't ready for it yet, but I hope he has success. I mean, I think he's a really good coach.
Yeah. Does this win now in one fell swoop thrust LSU back into the driver's seat in the West? Not from a win-loss standpoint, but we saw the boost that Texas A&M got last year when they knocked off Alabama.
Right.
Now you've got a coach with national credentials. Guy comes in, first year, woefully understaffed from a player standpoint, and knock off the vaunted Alabama Crimson Tide.
Right.
Does that in one fell swoop put us, if not in the driver's seat, certainly fighting over the steering wheel?
Well, I think it certainly gives you a glimpse of what LSU can be in the next 5 years with structure under Brian Kelly. You mentioned Texas A&M, and the one word I have to say about Texas A&M is inconsistency. They cannot put it together week in and week out.
Right.
Don't know if that's players or structure or coaching or the whole program, but something's not matching up where they can do it every game. Coach Brian Kelly knows that this is a very big win, but he's got to put it as the biggest win of his career. That's going to be when he wins a championship for LSU. That's why he was brought in.
That's it.
Now, this win does do a lot, not only for the standings this season, but lets everybody know, look, recruiting, we're back. LSU's back. This is a national brand. We have the head coach. We have the structure. We already had the saturation of talent in Louisiana of guys that want to stay here, want to play for their home state.
Yeah.
It was just about getting that structure. And hate to say it for the rest of the SEC, but it looks like LSU got that.
And when you talk about consistency throughout his career, if you look up consistency in the dictionary, somewhere in there's going to be a picture of Brian Kelly.
Well, he's won everywhere he's been. I mean, he's been and just his past stop at Notre Dame. He had a couple tough losses to the Alabama Crimson Tide in the playoffs. Had to recruit nationally, mostly Midwest. All of his perimeter stars who would target were going to Ohio State. Okay, it was so up front, in the middle, in the trenches, he was holding his own, and that's really where he believes physicality starts. Starting to stop the run and be able to run the ball and force your will. But on the perimeter, his teams were just not as talented as SEC.
Right.
And now here we are with a team that still is at least 23 scholarships less studs, we'll call them, than Alabama has. And was able to beat them in overtime, going for 2. Unbelievable.
Finally, what will this win do for the naysayers? Or will the naysayers always be the naysayers because they are naysayers?
Well, if you don't have haters, you're not doing anything right. It's just how it is.
Ask a black conservative.
That's right. That's right. So, the naysayers are going to be the naysayers. All that family talk with the fake accent or whatever, it not being a culture fit, you don't hear that anymore. I mean, Brian Kelly, this is his show. I think the LSU program kind of fitted more to Brian Kelly than Brian Kelly had to come fit into LSU's because the whole program was in a bad spot when he got here. So he changed the culture. Everybody bought in on the team right from the jump. And it's good to see him have success in year one. It really is.
Well, the good news is there's a whole lot of bandwagon folks now that are going to be jumping on the Brian Kelly, LSU is back bandwagon. But the good news is we got the receipts. You can go back and pull the Clarence Bug show when the announcement was made, when Jonathan Poche sat right where he is right now, and both of us said, great hire, LSU. This is the guy that can bring us back. I love it when a plan comes together.
That's it.
Tell the folks when they can catch you and Buddy Sanji.
That's right. Me and Buddy Sanji, we do it right here. We film the show on Tuesdays about 4 o'clock, but it'll air tomorrow, Wednesday, 8 o'clock on the Pelican. Also has some replays over the weekend. But check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. If you missed any of the programs, including this Clarence Bugs show, go on our YouTube page and check it out. They're all archived there for your viewing pleasures. Check it out. Tigers Roar with me, Jonathan Poche, and the Bud Man, Buddy Sanji.
Always spicy, my friend.
Thank you, CB.
Appreciate you, bud. Final break of today's show. Get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back for the final segment of the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. By the way, Jonathan neglected to mention in the last segment that when they shoot Tiger's Roar here at Old School Barbecue, you can also come out, get some great barbecue, and watch the live taping. Correct, Marty? Yeah, well, we know for sure you can watch it. Okay, so coming out, everybody knows Buddy Sanji and I are probably running about neck and neck in this town as far as the longest running on-air personalities for radio and TV. Yeah, he's old. Yeah. I know my dear friend Steve Schneider over at Channel 9 has been, oh Lord, how long has Snyder been at Channel 9 and doing sports now? He and I are running about about neck and neck. And his wife, by the way, huge fan of my show, and my missus is huge fan of Steve Schneider. That's a big running joke between the two of us. Hopefully, you will make every opportunity available to you count today as you take part in something that is the envy of many parts of this entire planet this day. For most of us, we did not have to sacrifice anything, give up anything, or fight in any way, shape, or form to be able to go to a polling place today and have the opportunity to decide who runs whatever city, state, or nation that you reside in. There truly is validity to the old adage that it's hard to truly appreciate something that was simply given to you. I don't know how many of you were like me growing up as a kid. As you approached that point in life where you were getting ready to get your driver's license and your first car, most of you probably had a friend whose parents were well off, at least considering what your parents were like. And their parents simply gave them a car. If you think back, those of us that had to work to buy our first car, who was it that treated that car the best? It was those of us that had to work for it. Those who were given a car, oh, they dogged it. They dogged it. They didn't care about it. Speeding up and down the road and not taking the proper maintenance that needed to be taken, the whole nine. Why? Well, because they didn't have to do anything to earn it. They just were given to them. It's the same thing for many Americans this day that will vote. They didn't have to do anything to earn it. It was simply given to them. And as a result, many of them don't have a true appreciation for what this day really means. Now, if you are okay with how crime has exploded all across this country, then stay home. Don't vote. If you're okay with the way your wallet has been squeezed more than at any other time in the last 40 years, then stay home. Don't vote. If you are okay with millions of people walking across our borders illegally, setting up shop and draining resources from Americans, then stay home. Don't vote. If you're okay with America's standing in the international community going from here to here, then stay home. Don't vote. But if you, like me and many other of my fellow Americans, are of the opinion that not only do we deserve better, but we are better, then today, my fellow Americans, is our day. Let there be no doubt when this one is over that America has spoken. Every now and then, you restore my faith. I can only hope that tomorrow it will be higher than it's been in recent memory. That being said, time's up and I gotta go. I gotta do this one quickly. This day, just like any other, I give it to you. You know what? You're right. America, we ain't perfect, but for this old boy's money, it's the best there is, and God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know by now, even if it's in the smallest of terms, that I do too. Best news you gonna get all day. There ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. We'll see you soon. Go vote. God bless.